stories from the local paper. Since stated as something of an obsessive compulsive, what he did was to actually rearrange the advertiser in alphabetical order. Eventually he joined the ABC newsroom and covered the usual rounds before joining the advertiser as their court reporter for quite a few years. He returned to the ABC in 1993 and covered state politics quite brilliantly for both ABC radio and local television. After several years of working what his family have described as crappy hours, David became acutely aware of this when his wife, in a public park, yelled at him one day, "You just don't get it, do you?" Now, I've known people in the media who've been divorced for less than that, but they survived it. Thinking it was time for a career change, David found a job with local radio 891, producing the Drive program. He then joined forces with a wonderful man, Philip Satchell, for some years on the morning program. And it just goes to show that if you hang around a radio station long enough, doing very little, they'll eventually put you on it. He and Matthew Abraham have been together successfully now for 11 years. And they decided then to make the change and move to breakfast radio. Those of us who were smart enough thought, oh, it's time to get out of here. Their program now rates number 2 in breakfast. The survey was released yesterday. They're equal with 5AA in the number 2 spot and just behind Mix. And I think the consensus among those radio people is that they could well be the number 1 breakfast program for all of this year, with the federal election in September and the state election in March of next year. They do their program quite brilliantly. It's definitely time to get out. Rotarians and guests, please welcome our special guest of the day, ABC Radio's David Bevan.
Thank you very much. It really is a great honour to be here today, and I appreciate the invitation. I'd also like to say that it is a huge honour to be introduced to you today by Tony Pilkington. Tony, of course, is a radio legend. My wife, the same lady who was yelling at me in the car in the park that day, she still has a cassette recording of Baz and Pilko, and we grew up listening to Tony, and he is a legend, and I've come to realise that what he makes it sound like an effortless performance really is quite a craft, and it can take years to learn. So my street cred has gone up enormously at home when I said that Tony Pilkington would be introducing me today. The last time I was at Adelaide Oval was just a few months ago, and Matt and I were interviewing Ian McLaughlin, the head sacker, and that was fun. It's always good to talk to Ian. One of my earliest memories, though, involves Ian. The sport wasn't Test cricket; it was a golf tournament. It was almost 30 years ago. I was a cadet working the Saturday morning radio news shift, so I was about as low on the rung as you could possibly imagine. And the word came through that the United States had made a decision regarding wheat subsidies. Now, I knew the National Farmers Federation had been warning for months that a bad decision from the Americans would be devastating for Australian farmers. This was very, very important. We must find the Federation's head, Ian McLaughlin, quickly and get a response. So I think that the junior reporter, I grabbed the story and I rang Mr. McLaughlin's home. Now, I spoke to his wife, who explained that Mr. McLaughlin wasn't home. Perhaps I could try. And I said, well, I will. About 20 minutes later, I rang again. No, he's not here. And I rang again and again. I was very, very persistent. And eventually, Mrs. McLaughlin revealed that her husband was at a very well-known and prestigious golf course, and that he was involved in a tournament that day. So I was starting to feel like Woodward and Bernstein at this point. And I think I'm getting just this reporting business. So I triumphantly announced to the rest of the news that I knew where the president, well, by now I've just called him the president. I know where the president is, and I convinced the TV crew to know this, and the TV reporters who were talking about seriously moving up the rank here, to follow me down to the golf course. Now when we got there, we were met by a man. Now, I don't know what his official title was. He was like the course maitre d'. And he quickly established three things. One, he didn't like us. In particular, he didn't like me. Two, no, he was not going to find Mr. McLaughlin. And three, he had the power to stop us going any further than the course office. Now, not to be deterred, but I was on a roll. I patiently explained that we needed to see the Farmers Federation president on a matter of utmost importance, and that he didn't really realise the events that he'd been caught up in. Now, it seemed to my young eyes that I might have unnerved this fellow just enough to stop him from throwing us off the golf course. No, we would not be allowed to walk out onto the green, but you would be allowed to stay here. So then, we would wait. And I shot a look at this golfing gatekeeper, which said, "Pal, you're going to regret it. You're going to regret keeping us here. Just you wait till McLaughlin finds out that you get the biggest news since the Cuban Missile Crisis from him. The president's going to treat me like a messenger from the battlefront, and boy, you are going to be in trouble." Now, maybe an hour went by, maybe two, and then we spied a group of golfers coming off the green, and they were walking past the head office, and we grabbed them, and we rushed out, confident that at last we were going to bring the news to the president, who would thank us, and he would deal harshly with the people who kept us waiting. And then he would speak words which would be gratefully heard by, thanks to us, by thousands of hard-working farmers across this great country. And the excitement was growing. We were playing our part in history. "Mr. McLaughlin! Mr. McLaughlin!" I shouted. My voice hadn't broken at that point. "Mr. McLaughlin! Mr. McLaughlin!" And I expected him at this point to embrace me. Instead, I thought as I rushed towards him, I noted a hint of coolness in his face. And then as I got closer, it was all sort of in slow motion. I thought, no, that's not coolness, that's iciness. And then I thought, no, he's angry. And he just roared at us. He said, "What do you think you are doing here?" And I said, most of it, I said, the US position on the wheat subsidies, it's come through. He said, "You barge in here, we're in the middle of a golf tournament." Now, at this point, I showed the lightning speed duplicity that reporters are renowned for, and I pointed to the golf course official. I said, "He told us that we could stay." And McLaughlin said, "He was too embarrassed to throw you out. Now get out." And I said, "Well, what about the wheat subsidies?" I was quite pathetic at this point. He said, "Get out." Now, I learned something that day. I learned something about farming, about politics, about international affairs and sports, specifically golf. What I learned was perspective. What I learned was that even though journalists who have spent months telling you how serious a matter it is, how vital a decision is, there is always time to wait for the 18th hole to be played. I did not grow up with a burning ambition to be a reporter or a broadcaster. I think I thought I was going to be an actor. The family I grew up with and the church we attended was heavily involved in amateur dramatics. And my first part was playing a dwarf in a fantasy play. That's me there. I'm the one who's actually in character. You can see the others, they're hopeless, they're just like a kid. But I'm bending over and I'm in character. The plot of the play was fairly straightforward. There was an evil developer who wanted to take over the land and they wanted to be called Mount Archive. Now, my job, well, I only had one line, and that was when he was announcing his evil plans, was to say, "Nay," and that was it. After that, I went on to play a character called Flop. Now, here is Flop. That's me there. And that's Flip. That's my brother. And that's Dean Davis. Remember Dean Davis from the Channel 9? We were the warm-up act at a Sunday school convention, and we had to encourage the other children to sing their choruses. I've got to say that after Flop, the parts started to dry up. I think I probably peaked at about age 10. We have, though, in the job that I've got at the moment, got to meet and interview a lot of actors and entertainers. Some of the people Matt and I have interviewed include this lady, Carrie Fisher, otherwise known as Princess Leia, and this fellow, not the guy in the suit, but the voice of Darth Vader, James Earl Jones. Of course, we talked to him because he's coming out in the next few weeks to perform in Driving Miss Daisy. We've also interviewed people like Sir David Attenborough and Hugo Weaving, David Wenham, Gene Pinkney, Cliff Richard, Eric Idle, Michael Palin, and last year Matt and I appeared on stage with John Cleese, and that was at Her Majesty's Theatre, and it was a highlight for both Matt and me. He was a thorough professional and a very generous man. So while I didn't get to accept that Academy Award that I always thought I was going to get, I have, through the work I'm doing, been able to meet some of these wonderful people. I actually think that interviewing celebrities is, especially comedians, is one of the hardest tasks that a broadcaster can have. We don't get to see our audience, of course. There might be 50, 60,000 people. It's a bit like Adelaide or Amy Stadium filled to capacity, and they're sitting and listening to you every morning. We don't see them, of course. Now, I presume that most of those people are listening because they like us. There are a group of people who listen to us who hate us, and we know they're there because they send us things. Why they persist, I'm not too sure, but most of us, I think we can assume they're listening most of the time because they like us. But when you get a big name in the studio or on the other end of the phone, you can feel the sympathy shift from us to the guests. It's really quite weird. You can't see that 50, 60,000 people, but you know it's happened. You just know that those tens of thousands of people who tune into you each morning for you, suddenly their sympathy has gone to this other person. The reason, of course, is that they know that actor or that singer or that comedian. They know them perhaps better than you do. They feel an intimacy with them, and they're hypersensitive to anything that you might say or do. So, having done some of these interviews, I'm now convinced that actually talking to people like John Cleese or your David Attenborough, it's actually a lot harder than it looks. And I've got enormous respect for somebody like Michael Parkinson, who makes it look so very easy. Of course, I spend my mornings asking people questions. Early on in my time as a reporter, I spent several years as a court reporter for the ABC and the Advertiser. Now, of course, you don't ask a lot of questions. What you have to do is sit and listen to other people asking the questions. It's great training for journalists, but it was when I moved into politics that I had to work on asking the questions. There are certain questions for specific purposes. For instance, there's the give me the grab question. This was first brought home to me in my early days down at Parliament House when I looked up on the steps and there was Channel 7's veteran reporter, Randall Ashbourne, and he was interviewing an MP. And I've never seen anybody do this before. He was sort of pointing his microphone at the MP like it was a dead fish. And the contempt was just palpable. And the MP was doing his best to answer the question. And then Randall just stopped him. He said, "No, too long. Say it again, but shorter." I've never seen anything like that. The power that you have down there compared to a court reporter, it was quite a culture shock. There are other useful questions that you should keep in your armoury, such as the "to what do you attribute your greatness" question. This came in very handy one time when we were chasing Premier John Olsen. Now, I actually have a lot of time for John. I've always found myself liking him, but on this particular day, he was involved in some crisis, and we knew he would not stop to talk to us. But he had a regular gig with Jeremy Cordo every Friday, so we camped outside the 5BN office, and Chris Kenny, who now writes for The Australian, I think he was then working for Channel 9, we were all gathered around, like the whole pack, and Chris said, "Why don't we just call out, Premier, to what do you attribute your greatness? And I thought, well, we've got nothing to lose. So, sure enough, the preview finishes with Jeremy. He comes out of the studio. He does not make eye contact with us. He does not want to talk to us. He rushes as quickly as he can to his car. And just before he was about to get into his car, he's ignored all of our questions. Just before he's about to get into his car, Chris yells out, "Premier, to what do you attribute your greatness?" And I swear John stopped him too. And he said, "What?" And we had it. Some reporters are asked to ask the strangest of questions. It was an awful time, but I hope you'll accept the spirit in which this story is told. I remember when the bodies were being taken from the bank at Snowtown, and my chief of staff came to me, and he said, "Do you remember about a year ago the Times ran a picture of a missing transvestite on the front page? I bet he's in one of those barrels. His name was such and such. Can you work your way through the phone book trying to find his family and get a reaction?" And I looked at him and I said, "Let me get this straight. You want me to ring people out of the blue and say, 'Excuse me, Mr. Such and Such, I work for the ABC. About a year ago, a transvestite went missing. He was on the front page of the Advertiser. Was he related to you? And if he was, do you think he might be one of the people who are in a barrel that's been dragged out of a disused bank vault in Snowtown? And if he is, how do you feel about that?'" And the cops looked at me and said, "I'll get back to you on that one." Eventually, I joined 811 after that little altercation in the park with my wife, and I did produce a particularly unsuccessful drive program for about 9 months. When they gave me the job, I said, "You know that the baby's not going to rape, don't you?" They said, No. We think it's a brilliant idea." I said, "I'm not going to rape. I don't want you coming back and telling me this is a fake. No. You look after it. You just do your job. It'll rape really well with a bomb." And then, within a few months, I found myself on air with Philip Satchell, who's just the loveliest man. And it was wonderful to be apprenticed with the master for about 18 months. And then Philip decided to move on, and Matt and I have been teamed together for more than 10 years now. Now, Matt and I we've spent a lot of time laughing. We have also shed a tear or two together. We've been through quite a bit. One of the things we've been through is, and this is something we're particularly proud of, this is a picture of Matt at Lake Albert, down near Lake Alexandria. Alexandria is the big one, Lake Albert's the little one, down by Murray Mountain. One of our listeners rang us and said, "Do you know that there are men in their 60s and 70s dragging plastic pipe out into Lake Albert looking for water and fresh, clean water for their cattle?" And we said, "Well, we've got to get down there and have a look at this." And it was a salutary experience, but it was one of the great trips that we've made. We met some wonderful people, made good friendships, and it was an opportunity to get out and get dirty with some good people, but also bring some powerful radio to people. And we like to think that we made a difference that particular day. I don't think Matt and I have ever argued about news. Some people think we're very different characters, but we're actually quite similar. That's me in the Spider-Man outfit, and that's Matt dressed as a spider. Like one of our outside broadcasts. We have a partnership with the University of SA, and each year we run a citizen science. We ask people to ring in with if they've seen koala, or in this particular year it was spiders. We've done possums and blue tongues. It's a lot of fun, and it's become a very popular segment. When we first got together, though, although our background is from news, we instantly agreed that the program had to be a mixture of light and shade. And the reason for that is that we're acutely aware that for some people, the radio is their only companion. The first thing they hear in the morning is our voices, perhaps, and the last thing they might hear would be Pilkington at night. And we didn't want to burden people. Sometimes we've got to do the hard yards. Sometimes the topics are quite heavy. But we wanted to make sure that our listeners were reminded that despite all the issues, and we're not there to give people a free ride, despite all the issues, Adelaide and South Australia is still one of the best places to live, and life is still worth living. That's why when we finish an interview with the Prime Minister, we get her to pick something from our lucky gift box, and that ceramic kookaburra that she's holding now is now taking pride of place in the lodge. She sent us a picture. It's on a ledge in the lodge. About 3 weeks ago, I was in my shed. I find that the longer I stick around, the less I actually do. There was a time when I was tracking down Ian McLaughlin at a golf course, or assiduously listening to some complicated court case, or chasing politicians and writing carefully constructed stories. Now I sit in a darkened room with a middle-aged man and I hear voices in my head. Sometimes I talk to the voices. But I do think that what we do serves a purpose. A few years ago I came across a quote. I collect quotes, and I've got this particular quote on my desk at work, and I'd like to leave it with you, and if you've got time, you've got some questions, by all means, please ask. But the quote is this. It's from Mark Twain, a hero of mine. And Twain said this, because he was a journalist, and he said, "Ours is a useful trade, a worthy calling. With all its lightness and frivolity, it has one serious purpose, one aim, one specialty, and it is constant to it. The deriding of shams, the exposure of pretentious falsities, the laughing of stupid superstitions out of existence. And that who is by instinct engaged in this sort of warfare is the natural enemy of royalties, nobilities, privileges, and all kindred swindles, and is the natural friend of human rights and human liberties." I read that from time to time just to remind myself why we're doing what we're doing. Thank you very much.
We've got time.
Sir, I listen to you every morning. It's John Hunter, and I enjoy your program very much.
Thank you.
And particularly I enjoy you interviewing politicians, but one of the things I'm very surprised at, you seem to let them off the hook when they won't answer the question you've got. You don't say, "Look, this is the question I asked, I want an answer to that question." Why don't you do that?
Well, it's funny because sometimes when we do that, we get a lot of people ringing up and complaining that we do it too often. I think, well, I thought that's exactly what we did do. There comes a point, though, where really there is no point in repeating the question again. Sometimes we will, if we think it's important enough. But there's also a point where you realise, look, we've said it 3 times. The person isn't going to answer the question. The listeners can draw their own conclusion, and so we move on. I do remember Matthew interviewing Kim Beasley once, and Kim was quite a nice bloke, was in Adelaide to promote the Senate team for the Labor Party at the upcoming election. And that's what they said. He's here to present the Senate team. And so Matt said, "Can you name the senators?" So Kim rattled off 1, 2, just got 3, and then he moved on. And Matt said, no. We're up to number 4. Can you remember number 4? And he struggled. You think, right up the back of his head, he managed to pull the 4th senator. It was like a man holding on, and Matt was just peeling the finger of the camera at the time. And I'm just sitting there, it was excruciating. And I said, no, the 5th. And he couldn't do it. And it takes a lot of nerve, it takes a lot of guts to do that sort of reporting. I like to think that Matt and me do that for our listeners. Of course, some people will say, well, that's just silly gotcha journalism. I think that prejudice is very much in the eye of the beholder. A lot of people will say, oh, that's bias. Why are you giving them a hard time over such a petty thing? But another person will say, no, that's exactly what we want from you. We try and steer a middle course. I hope that we get there.
Thank you, David, and like many of the people here in the audience, certainly enjoy your show. one of the questions that strikes me emerges more often these days. There's a bunch of journalists like yourself, except in their junior days, out there trying to wrong foot politicians, and then there's another league of them coaching them and training them and generally polishing their performance. But are we reaching some kind of culminating point of all this? Because it seems to me that everyone's getting a bit browned off with the spin doctorism that goes on. So where are we going with that? Is it just going to get worse and the whole point of interviewing people becomes, there's less point to it?
Well, I think when you hear the genuine article, it really jumps out to you from the micro, from the speaker that you're listening to, and you hear the real thing. And if Matt and I had a goal when we're doing those sort of accountability interviews, let's call them that, so we all know what we're talking about, those sort of accountability interviews, that would be the aim. That's what we're actually looking for, to try and crack that spin. And we will, if we get an opportunity. Breakfast radio is fairly fast-paced. There's often not a lot of time to discuss how we're going to handle a particular interview. If we have a discussion about a particular interview, it's usually with that very goal in mind. What can we do to just crack that veneer of pre-rehearsed answers? And there are some people that it's an absolute joy to interview. Matt and I actually enjoyed talking to John Rao. I think he was a speaker here a week or so ago. We had him on the program this morning. And you might not like what he's saying, but you can have a conversation with Matt. He does listen. It's not quite a pat, prepared answer. Whereas there are others where it's extremely frustrating. And the goal is to crack through that. I think it has been that way for a very, very long time. I'm not sure it's any worse now than it was 10, 20 years ago. But that's certainly the goal of what we're trying to do.
Terrans and guests, would you please be upstanding and thank our special guest? Today I'm just a little underwhelmed with a pen. We said, would you like $1,000 in folding or a pen? But it's from Albert Ben Simons. It's a beautifully crafted marker pen. I'm sure we'll hear it in the next few weeks in the ABC prize box. You will. Really one of the great speakers that we've had in recent times.